Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our ActionCOACH Entrepreneurship Series. My name is Harry Welby-Cook, and together with Peter Scholes, was privileged enough to bring ActionCOACH to South Africa already almost 15 years ago. In fact, May the 3rd this year will be our 15th anniversary, and really excited about this series because as we touch on various topics that are applicable to you and your business, it's all designed to ensure that you create a more profitable, more sustainable business for you. Because we know that if you run a more profitable, more sustainable business, the cup kind of flows over and you've got more time and you've got more money. And when entrepreneurs have that, they employ more people, they procure more services, they give more to causes of their choice and have the time to really run the lives that they choose to live. And therefore, despite our global vision of world abundance through business re-education, which I think is more relevant now than it ever has been. I think it's our South African vision that is even more critical for us where we're at. And that is simply thriving businesses, impacting economies, and then transforming communities. And we all desperately know the need out there that isn't getting smaller, it's actually getting bigger. And to create thriving businesses, first and foremost, we then ensure that the impact is on a range of different economies, local, micro, regional, national, and even regional in the Southern African region. And once you get that right, there is the surplus, there is the scale, there is the ability to then start doing true transformation. And therefore, the topic today, I think, very valuable, because if we want human rights, if we want to protect human rights, if we want to ensure human rights are at the core of who we are, then we need to focus on business growth. And no one better to take us through that than one of our stalwart coaches, a coach that's been with us for almost a decade, based out of the East Rand in Gauteng. But Bert Weenink had a range of experiences before even joining us and has been committed to ensuring thriving entrepreneurs, thriving businesses all throughout his journey, impacting them and ensuring that they have better lives and are more sustainable and more profitable. And do yourself a favor, go look at some of the testimonial videos on our website and the huge transformations that have taken place as a result of that, working with his clients, and really honored to have him today. So we're going to make it interactive. Please use the chat box, keep yourself on mute, just to make sure that everybody else can focus, can listen, and there's less interruptions. And we will make sure that there's quite a lot of time for Q&A at the end of the session as well. So, Bert, welcome, and thank you for joining us and sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Harry, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you guys this morning. And yeah, let's take it away. So I think important is our topic, business growth, the only solution to human rights. And I was, as I was preparing this presentation and going through a lot of material, I also found it interesting that, human rights in today, as we are, and with everything happening in the world, are probably at one of its lowest levels ever. If we think about the amount of people that had to be moved or that are moving as a result of our war. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the positive side. And really like to share with you today a number of thoughts. I'd like to get your input, and I'd like to certainly make it worth your while and make sure that the time you invest with us, you can actually take some stuff right back to your business and go and implement them as we normally want you to do in any ActionCOACH presentation or webinar. So business growth is the only sustainable thing that we can do to maintain human rights. Well, is that true? Well, that's my statement, and I want to make sure that you have your ability or your time to tell us what you think. But let's go and look at some of the facts. And today I'd really like to just start off with this, where I'm going to ask you to just type in the chat box, what is the name of your business? Where are you from? How long have you been in your business? And how many employees do you have? Sorry, this is 4 questions, but I think they are vital for us to understand who's on the network with us today. So what is your name or the name of your business? Where are you from? how long have you been in business, and how many employees do you currently have in your business? And Harry, if you wouldn't mind just reading out in the chat box any of the answers.
Okay, so a couple of coming in already. We've got Tanya from Crafty Sew Room, Renee from Renee Verson Audiologists, Annery, welcome Annery, from the Utenag, been in business for 33 years with 18 employees. Tanya joining us from PE. We've got Beverly from Brakpan, so not too far from you, Bert. Been in business 4 years, 4 employees, and quite the range of different businesses. We've got Dudizela from Krugersdorp, who's also been in business already for 8 years, 3 employees. So quite a range of people around the country, but also a range of different businesses, which I think is really important.
Yeah, thank you. And that's just from my side, part of the ActionCOACH community and a partner with ActionCOACH. I am from the East Rand for the last 30 years, born on the West Rand, but lived most of my adult life here on the East Rand. So I've been in business for a decade as a business coach, but before that, 30 years in corporate, in companies that make fast-moving consumer goods, mainly Clover Dairies and McCain Foods, and then was a short stint as CEO in a distribution and packaging company. And yeah, how many employees? Well, 1.5 at the moment. I've have an associate that helps me with my marketing, but only me in the business as a business coach right now. Yeah, so Harry, any other comments, thoughts that have come up in the chat box?
We do have some apologies for load shedding that might happen soon. So yes, all of us going through that. We see that. Good luck, Charmaine. I hope your battery holds. We've also had Rob join us from Howick. We've got Peter from Centurion. We've got Scott from Bloemfontein. So all over the place and a range of different businesses.
Awesome. Thank you. And once again, thank you for joining us. And let's make sure that you get some payback on the time you invest with us. So what we'll cover today is quickly an introduction, which we sort of had already. We're going to talk about human rights and a couple of thoughts around what that is. Business and human rights. So why is it important that we as business owners talk about human rights and what does that do? Business growth as the only sustainable solution to human rights. We'll unpack that a little bit. I want to share with you our business growth model, the 6 steps to massive business growth. We're going to spend a bit of time there so you fully understand how you can take that back to your business and implement. And then at the end, I've got a bit of a bonus for you. I've got 4 questions I'd like you to jot down, to actually think about, and to make sure that you have some roadmap going forward for 2022 for yourself and your business. Would that be okay? All right, so let's get going on this. So first of all, is business growth the only sustainable solution? So I'd like to get your opinion. So in the chat box, please type yes, no, or not sure. And then if you wouldn't mind telling us why you say yes or no or not sure. So I'm going to give you a minute or two. So just think about it. Is business growth the only sustainable solution to human rights? What do I see? Any feedback there?
So far, we're deep in thought around the countryside. So either type in yes or no, or maybe if you're not sure, you can even add that and also include, as Bert says, why do you believe that?
All right. If we're not going to get any feedback, that's fine. That tells me actually that you're not sure.
Tanya says she's not sure. Tanya says she's not sure. So well done, Tanya. Good answer.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. So we're not sure. So let's look at what is it that we're looking after when we talk about business and human rights. And I think one of the important things around working with us and working with your coach, you would know that part of the principles that we live up to is to say that you can only get 100% if you give 100%. So your participation is really important to us, and please keep on putting your comments and thoughts in the chat box, and we'll share them. And get some people to answer them if that is also good. So human right is a basic right. Okay, it's a right that is believed to belong to every person. Okay, so just think of that. Human, yes, a person. The right, yes, to have something that belongs to you just because you're on earth, because you're born. And obviously those things are, very important to us in the Western world, perhaps not so important to the rest of the world sometimes. But what are the examples of human rights? And without going into too much detail, I want to share this with you. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the security of person. Okay, so I have the right that I can live. I have the right that I have liberty or freedom and that I can move and that I can have freedom of speech and all the other things. And then the important one is no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Okay, so I am free, but being in slavery in a way, really, I'm not going to be free. And therefore, looking at human rights, that's an important way to go forward. So what is your belief about human rights? Well, that's a time to think about some of that, but let's look at human rights explained. So every person deserves to be treated with dignity and equality as a basic human right. What is government's role? Well, it must protect their citizens against abuse. And perhaps our track record in South Africa hasn't been that great over many, many years. But right now, what is it that we need to do and what do our governments need to do? And then why does business need to care about human rights? Well, more and more, it's a legal, moral, and commercial need. Legally, because the law says that you have to comply and you have to do certain things. There's a moral thing because good business is about good morals. And just think about what's happening at the moment in Russia, where business is saying this doesn't work for us. This is a breach of human rights, and we're actually disinvesting from this country. So quite a lot of that perhaps very applicable. But human rights is good business, and that's why business is important, but it is important for business to get involved. But the important thing to really understand is that business needs to make and help make money so that we can implement the basic human rights. And it comes from the taxes we pay that go to the government that can then implement and put these things in place, whatever it is they need to do to protect the basic human rights. And we know that, business, when we grow, that we employ more people. And again, that creates more taxes that go to the government to do the work that they need to do. We have this principle of the point of power, and I'd like to share that with you. Because what we're saying is that we can talk about human rights and be in denial, have excuses, or blame other people for human rights not being in place. Or we can be responsible, accountable, and take ownership of human rights in our community, in our business, in our homes. And if we put that in place, then obviously we don't have to make as if we're powerless. We can be really powerful in implementing these things. The same goes for your business growth. If your business isn't growing and you want to be in a different place and you want to grow it, it's important to understand that you have to take ownership, that you are the accountable person in your business to make sure you get the results you want, and that you are the responsible for carrying out the work or ensuring that it is carried out. Just yesterday, I spent some time with a new customer, and one of our biggest problems was that staff members are not taking accountability. They are there for the pay, but they're not there to manage or to ensure things happen as they should happen, given their job descriptions and what we want them to do. So perhaps they are blaming other people. They have excuses and they're in denial of certain things that they should be doing. So let's understand that the point of power goes for every aspect of our lives, not just our business, not just me, but if we want to change something, we want to be powerful and not powerless. So what's our definition of a successful business? Well, firstly, it's a commercial and profitable enterprise. So just think of the word commerce. Well, it's about trading, it's about money flowing and so on. It needs to be profitable. So there needs to be money left over in the till at the end of the week or the end of the month. And then it is an enterprise. We employ people that do the work because the work needs to happen. Otherwise, nothing changes. And otherwise, we don't have happy customers. So what are the things that we need to do as a commercial, profitable enterprise that works? And we know that most business owners would like their businesses to run without them. Not everybody, but quite a few. And somewhere you want to go out and have a holiday. You want to take 4 or 2 weeks out, you want to travel. you want to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor, well, then your business has to be able to work without you. There's no point in you coming in at 6 in the morning and leaving at 6 at night and making a lot of money, but you don't know how to spend it, or you lose all your friends because you're just at work all the time. So we want the business to work without you, and also to unlock the value once you want to get rid of the business and sell it. So our 6 steps talks about mastery as the first of our 6 steps. And it's about eliminating the chaos in our business. And we're going to go into the 4 elements of that a little later, but it's all about knowing where I want to go, managing my time, managing my money, and making sure that the service delivery is in place so that the customers are happy. Once we create that stability, when you understand the money numbers and where we want to be, we're going to work on a predictable cash flow. And at the niche level, it's about understanding what our unique selling proposition is and what makes us different. And it's not just about we want to be the cheapest. That's not a unique USP. And the other side is, if we don't have something unique, perhaps we can build a guarantee that makes customers come back to us and buy from us all the time. Once we have the niche sorted out, and we'll talk about the 5 ways in the niche a little later, it's going to be our cash flow. So sorting out cash flow just makes life a lot easier for business owners. And managing your cash flow is a very important aspect of that. And too often I see business owners that are not doing that properly. They are not managing their cash flow to the level that they should. Well, perhaps if you are a 200 million rand business and you're still managing the payments, you are probably managing the cash flowing out quite well. Making sure that you get paid is the other side of that. Right, so once we've got leverage sorted and we know and have systems in place for efficiency, we now move on to managing our time. And once we get the time sorted, we actually want to do that through employing people and putting a structure for growth in place in our business. And too often I find that the team is family members. The team are people that we actually feel guilty and about our success, and we bring them into our business, but they're not delivering the results we want. So it is one of our focus areas as a coach to say, do we have the right structure in place, and are the people in the team performing? And if not, then obviously we need to educate them and train them even more. So once you have a team in place, it's about putting a general manager in place. It could be you, but then obviously the business can't run without you. But once you have money and you can employ that general manager, you get him to do the work and make sure that there's synergy and we have a well-oiled machine that starts running. And very last element is our results. And through that, we want to make sure that we create a passive income for the owner, and that the owner has a growth plan for himself and the business to ensure that we keep on growing and the business grows. Putting all of those things in place is going to lead to massive results. And massive results means that we're going to employ more people. And employing more people then means we take people off the street and we can actually help them live a decent life. And I believe that's where business can make the difference. In my lifetime, I'd like to have an impact on 10,000 businesses and to create 100,000 jobs in South Africa for South Africans. And I believe that that is probably key to one of the best, or not the best, but one of the most important things that we need to do is to grow our companies so we employ more people and take whoever's off the street. Because at a 40% plus unemployment rate, we know that we're heading for trouble. So 6 steps to massive results. We know it's all about mastery, niche, leverage, team, synergy, and results. But then we also have the 5 ways in ActionCOACH. And the 5 ways talks about lead generation, conversion rate, average rand sale value, the number of transactions that we have, and then a profit margin. So understanding that we, as we grow our business, need to put a marketing machine in place that gives us the leads from our target market clients. We convert them so that they buy from us, not only once, but as many and often as they can. We then look at the average rate of sale and then the number of transactions. So converting clients to buy more and obviously getting existing clients to buy more is important for us. And at the end, it is about the profit margin, because we know turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and yes, cash is king. But let's work on the profit and make sure that we also bring in the money as we should. So how do you systemize your business? Well, you need people and you need to educate them. And you need to make sure that they know what they need to do. Otherwise, you keep on doing the work for them. And now you've employed a person and they're still not doing the work. So it really doesn't help you. Put systems in place and look at the technology behind that. Look at your process for delivery and distribution and automate and streamline and make sure everybody knows what they need to do. And then lastly, testing and measuring, not only accounting, but also any activity that you put money into, and even your staff. What return are you getting on the money that you pay for salaries and wages? So what is mastery? Mastery talks about our business, really the baseline things, what is in place, and mastery is about a commercial enterprise. So in our definition of a successful business, mastery is about the commercial enterprise side of that. So what does that mean? Well, we want to take the business from a chaos situation where poor financial management probably drives most of the issues in the business to a place where there is control. And the control is in terms of the financial management side. So we have the money in place that we spend that money and we collect it. But we do that in a structured way, and we make sure that we don't have bad debts in our business, that we actually reject people and potential customers if they have issues, and we've learned that their credit applications are problematic. Okay, so you must control the flow of money to get control of your business. And quite often, our business owners don't even know the numbers. They don't know that the money in the till belongs to SARS and not to them. And they spend that money and then they run into problems. So the 4 areas of mastery talks about destination mastery, money mastery, time mastery, and delivery mastery. So let's unpack that a little bit further. So looking at the destination is, where is your business going? What are you doing and where is your business heading? So it's no use of going out and building a business if you have no idea. So quite a lot of time is spent at the beginning of your coaching program where we work out with you, what is the end goal of your business? 3 to 5 years from now, what does it look like? Because it's all about defining what you want so that we have direction and we can run real fast. Once we've got that in place, I think it makes a lot of sense to say that everything in the business flows from that. So you've got your vision, your mission, and your values sorted, where you want to be in 3 to 5 years, defined, and now all of a sudden we have a clear picture of where we're going. It's not only in the owner's head. And quite often, if it's in the owner's head, it's not even clear. So we need to look at not only our historic numbers, but we want to have a business plan. We want to have a budget. We want to measure ourselves against some plan. And that plan should include a profit margin, not just a break even. Too many businesses have no ability to make that decision because they don't have the information. The accountants only give them financial statements once a year, perhaps, or once a quarter, if they ask for it. Okay, so if we want to measure some or manage something, we know we have to measure it. So you need to know your profitability. You need to make sure your business performs, and you need to know the key performance indicators. But it is about testing and measuring all the things in our business. And the key to money mastery, as we know and we spoke about, is budgeting and reporting. Okay, yes, we don't like this. We don't like to be held accountable. But if you want to grow your business and things are not working out, what are you going to do to get sales back on track? How do you make sure that at the end of the year, all the hard work you put in delivered a profit and not just a survival? Okay, so you need to know these numbers, your break even, where's your profit, and how do you maximize your profit? Wonder how many of you have this in place and are able to actually say, I know that my daily break even is 55,400 Rand. Well, perhaps you don't, but perhaps it's time that you start looking at it. So here's a question. In the chat box, please tell me, what have you learned so far? And what is that one thing that you have to do in your business based on this? So take a minute and think about what we've covered so far and give me an understanding of what have you learned and what's that one thing that you want to go and do in your business when you get back this afternoon. there any comments in the chat box?
So we've got so far, Bert, we've got Anaria saying to determine where we want to be in 3 to 5 years. Duduzile, I think need to revisit my vision, mission statement, and my values. Renee says, I struggle to decide where I want to be in 5 years time, and it's really holding me back. Charmaine also saying, to revisit my 3 to 5 year plan. Very difficult to focus on where you want to go if you don't know where that is. So it seems to be a theme coming through there.
Okay, love that, and thank you for that. And those of you who are still thinking about it, I think what you've just heard and listened to might just trigger your own response. It isn't important that you tell me what it is. I think it's important for you to have a clear action plan after this webinar to say, this is what I need to go and do, and then put time in your diary to do it. Because quite often, yes, we want to do things, but we never get to doing it. And remember that nothing changes unless you do something. So you can have the best plans and the best thoughts in your mind, but if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. Right, so Mesh, our second level, talks about predictable cash flow. And here it is our 5 ways that we want to just work through and tell you about. So Mesh is a commercial and profitable enterprise. Okay. And we want to make sure that the money flows, it comes in, and we can pay the bills, and we actually can sleep at night because we don't have to stress about the cash flow. Okay, so how do you create your niche? Well, you need to look at your unique selling proposition. What makes you different? Not just better service, or not just cheaper, because cheaper is not unique. Everybody can be cheap. So what is the value that you bring to the table, and what are people prepared to pay for it? And yes, it could be a lot of money, but is that expensive or not? Well, that depends on the investment and what they get from it. So, if you don't have and can't work on the unique selling proposition, or you have a USP and perhaps want to add a guarantee, that can make your position even stronger, and potentially you can actually charge more money for that. So looking at our marketing leverage chart, we know that most businesses have a challenge in growing their businesses. So why is it important? But because we want to grow our business. If we don't grow, we're actually dying. So we want to make sure that we continue to grow, so we can continue to pay the bills, that we actually cover our overheads, and that inflation doesn't erode our profit, and at the end of the day, nothing is left. But the point is, from our marketing leverage chart, this is an important thing, and it might just be that you're not ready for it. So thinking about these 2 cars, did you know that they're built on the same chassis? Perhaps you didn't, or perhaps you did. The question is, which one would you rather have? Well, it depends on where you're going, isn't it? Is it a 2-seater with high performance? Is it a 4-seater family car? Doesn't really matter which one you want, but to build what you want, there's a formula for it. There's a chassis that you can use to build a business, and all businesses are built on that same chassis. So let me explain. Most business owners want more customers, they want to increase their revenue, and they want to have more profit. Because we're never happy with the profit we make if we make a profit. So we know that those things are just results. We can't just go and work on getting more customers. We have to do the marketing. We have to do the sales things. And this is where the 5 ways formula comes in. And let me just share the formula with you. So it talks about the number of leads that I get coming into my business from my marketing activity, my networking activity, whatever those strategies are. How I convert those leads into business. So how many quotes go out, how many of them become business, and then how many customers do I have? Right, so more leads coming in at a higher conversion rate will give me more customers, isn't it? So what my current numbers are, I can work on, and then the question is, how do I improve that, and what can I do about it? So I want more customers who buy from me more often in terms of the number of transactions, and we want to increase the value of every transaction. More customers buying more often at higher value gives me more revenue. And because I'm now managing my profit margin, I actually have a profit at the end of the day. So let's just put some numbers in it for a change. So we have 4,000 leads coming into our small little business. 25% of them get converted to become customers. So now we have 1,000 customers new in our business. When they buy from us twice at 100 Rand each, we're going to have a turnover of 200,000 Rand. Everybody happy with those numbers? When we have a 25% profit margin, we keep a quarter of the 20 or 200,000, we have 50,000 Rands worth of profit. So as a coach, and if this is your current number in your business, and every one of you could actually go and work that out for your own business to say, what are my 5 ways numbers? How many leads do I get in? What's my conversion rate? How many customers do I get? What's my number of transactions? What is the average value of that transaction? How can I get that to improve so that I have a higher revenue and more profit? So go and work on that in your own business. But let's say you start and you work with a coach, and the coach helps you increase these numbers by 10%. So let's just go through the numbers. So 4,000 leads become a 27.5% conversion rate. Remember, it's 10% of 25. So that gives us 1,210 new customers, 210 more than we had previously. Now, all of a sudden, we want them to buy more often. So some of them buy 3 times. We get them to pay a little more, so a price increase, or we upsell certain goods and services, and the average value goes up to 110 Rand. And all of a sudden now we have 92,820 Rand more revenue in our business from changing 4 numbers, 10% more on 4 numbers. If we now work on our profit margin and we try and spend a little less and buy cheaper and do the things we need to do to contain our costs, our profit margin might increase by 10% or will increase by 10%, which then gives us a handsome 80,000 Rand profit. And now that is quite a lot more than what we had. Because if you think about it, revenue increased by 46%, but my profit increased by 61%. Now, how do you get that in your business? Well, we've given you the answer. We've given you the formula. It's about going to do the work and making sure that you get the numbers to increase. So that's an important aspect. And we know that, it's easy to define what we want to have. I want a business that has, million Rand turnover per month, 12 million per year, whatever that number is. Question is, where are you now in terms of what you have now and where you want to be? And for us to dream about to have and the new place we want to be or the business we want to have, that's great. But the question is, what do I need to do and who do I need to be in this case? So if I'm just a startup business, well, I might not be ready for being a big 50, 100 million Rand business a year. So I need to grow. I need to be a different person. And I need to do different things that I perhaps need to do is manage and do sales and marketing better and leave the work to some other people and not be the technician that runs a self-employed business. So I want to have a different business. I want to have a better business. I want to have more profit. Well, what do I need to do and who do I need to be? And here's another way of putting it. So the be to have formula on the side there compared to the identity iceberg. And what we're saying here is my results come from my actions, behaviors, and decisions. Well, actions, behaviors, and decisions are the things I do. My results equal to my have, what I want, okay, in the future, stated in the future, not as it's currently. But the results I have today based on action, behavior, and decisions. And what drives that? Well, my skills, my beliefs, my values, and identity. So the person I'm being is driven by what I believe, the values that I hold dear, my identity that I want to make, how I want people to see me. And then also very important is the environment in our business or in our country or now, whatever environment that is. So the environment you want to create needs to deliver at the end of the day what you want to have. So this is just an example of how the identity iceberg matches the success formula of B times do equals have. We know that as entrepreneurs and business owners, we want to grow. The question is, on this entrepreneurial ladder, where are you? Are you an employee in a business? Are you self-employed? Are you a manager, a business owner? investor, or entrepreneur? And let's just talk about that for a moment. Employee, self-employed, and being a manager pays yourself a salary. You earn money from time spent in the business or invoiced to a client. Think about a medical practitioner. What do? They are self-employed in their own practice, isn't it? Right? So you want to get to a point where you are a business owner. So why is that important? Well, as a business owner, you can earn money from dividends. As an investor, your share in the business is going to increase. The business is going to grow and you're going to get more money for that. And then as an entrepreneur, what happens is people come to you and say, hey, won't you invest in this idea that I have? Because I think we can make a lot of money. And you have the opportunity to say yes or no. Quite a difference in the top three versus the bottom three. I'd like to ask you, in your entrepreneurial journey, where are you right now? And please just type that in the chat box. Are you the manager in the business? Are you the owner who can take dividends and make money? What is it? What role are you playing? Not the fact that you own a business doesn't mean you are just automatically a business owner. You might just be self-employed, and that might really be a challenge. But yeah, I'd like to know in the chat box, at what level do you rate yourself at?
So far, we've got Beverly, self-employed, Rob, also self-employed, Michael at manager level, Anaria at business owner level. We've got Duduzile at self-employed. Charmaine saying, question mark, manager / business owner maybe. Valentine still self-employed. So those are the ones so far that have come through.
Oh, excellent. Thanks, Harry. Yeah, so I think it's important that you actually look at this perhaps 2 or 3 times a year and say, where do I want to be? Do I really want to be an investor in different businesses? Well, what does this business have to deliver for me to do that? So I need to make money here so that I can buy into or start another business, whatever that means. But yes, this is a journey, guys. It starts, we all started at employee level. Somewhere somebody gave us a job and we started there. And we learned, and we then decided to move into our own job, our own business. Well, that's a self-employed level in the beginning. And then you need to appoint people and you become a manager. And that brings its own headaches and things. All right. So think about it. I think I wanted to share this with you because I think all of us have a dream. And our journey begins with that dream. And the question is, how do we build our business from here onwards? What's that next level that we want to take our business to? And ourselves to, so that we can enjoy life and have freedom. Because at the end of the day, I believe that to be rich is to have freedom. So here's something for us to think about at the end. I'd like to really ask you, perhaps write this down. What are the top 3 things that are holding you back or stopping you from getting to the next level in 2022? Okay, so now I'm being your coach. I'm asking you to give me 3 things that are holding you back. You don't have to share that with me. I just want you to think about that and jot them down. Okay, need a little bit more time. Is it that you don't think you're good enough? Is it that you need to develop a new marketing skill? Perhaps you're not good at marketing. Or is it that you need to sort out some staff or team issues in your business? I don't know what they are, but just write them down. The second question I want to ask you, what do you most want to achieve personally over the next 6 months? What do you want to achieve personally over the next 6 months? And you can see that we said list up to 5, but it's up to you. But if you want to list something, you must make it specific. You want to make sure it's measurable, that you can actually achieve it. Let's be realistic about it as well. But then put a time goal into it. If it's March now, what do you want to do and where do you want to be by the end of August? That's 6 months from now. What are the 5 goals that you set for yourself as a person. Well, why is that important? Because those goals are what's going to drive you. It's going to be what gets you up in the morning. Remember, the business is the vehicle to make your personal goals come true. My third question to you is, list your business goals and ambitions for the next 6 months. And again, I'd like you to make them SMART goals and list up to 5. Right, while you're busy with that, here's another question, last question. So what is the one thing that you could do that would make everything else unnecessary or have the biggest impact in your business? What is that one thing that you could do that would make everything else unnecessary or have the biggest impact in your business? So we've listed a number of things at the top here, but what is that one thing that is key, that will unlock so many things in your business, make it grow, make it profitable, have the right team? What is that one thing that you can identify? Okay, so I hope you've written those questions down, that you can actually think about them. You're welcome to connect with me if you want to discuss them. I'm happy to share some time with you. Put time aside. It's not going to cost you anything, but I'd like to make sure that we connect with you. So if you would like to share, you would like to make comments, more than welcome. I hope this roadmap gives you something to work towards, that you actually get the business to work for you so that you can get and achieve your personal goals that you have. And remember, you might have to work on yourself. Don't be in denial. Remember the point of power. So don't have excuses and be in denial. Be that person that takes accountability and stay responsible. Have ownership. It's your business. It's your life. Thank you so much for your time. And I think the floor is open for questions.
Absolutely. Definitely open for questions, guys. So type in your questions into the chat box, and we'll have lots of times to unpack them. And some of them already started to come through, but purely with the feedback. So let's touch on the concept of, that was a bit of a theme, saying, well, I don't know where I'm going 3 to 5 years from now. What would you encourage people to do to help them find that clarity of their vision for their business 3 to 5 years out?
Yeah, I would say that you need to start with your vision. You need to really say, why am I in business, and what is it that I'm here for? It's not about making money. You're not in business to make money. You're in business to serve something. And go and listen to that recording of the Golden Circles by Simon Sinek. Again, talking about your why and your purpose and so on. So those are the overarching things you need to get in place. And then I think then the 3-year goal is important. 3 years is a nice timeline. It's not too far. It's not too close. And then you break it down to 1-year goals. But there is a structure. There is lots of people that can help you. And certainly within ActionCOACH, we've got some nice questionnaires and workshops that we can have with you and take you through these things. And perhaps attend one of our growth clubs where we help people get clarity on their next 90 days, which then fits with their annual plan and their 3-year plan.
Saw a lot of nodding of the heads here while you were talking, and I think critical for us to always understand that our businesses are our vehicles to take us to the future. So let's understand what that future is, and then we know what vehicle to build, what fuel to put into it, what roadmap to take to help us to get to that destination. So Nay had almost the opposite of that, saying, not necessarily difficult for me to know where I want to be in 5 years. How do I go about getting there? So I think the 5 ways that you broke down was, a great way to look at the numbers. I think this roadmap for 2022, the questions to ask us are critical. But if I've got that clarity around my 5-year vision, what would your recommendation be to say, well, how do I now go about implementing that?
Yeah, so I think that's, again, the 90-day planning and the annual plan. So, some of my clients had a brilliant year in COVID, and this last year has not been so great. And if I look at what we plan to achieve and where we are, it's nowhere near what the plan was in the beginning of the year. Now, how do you implement that stuff? So you've got this vision, mission, and you've got the plan. It is about an action plan. It's about week by week taking action, day by day almost, to say, what do I need to do to get in place to get to a different place? So I need to test and measure, and I need to have a plan with milestones that I can hold myself accountable.
Brilliant, good. So, commenter from Shanra is saying that when she looks at her USP, she does promotional gifts, she does website design, social media, and everybody else is doing that too. So, if I have a business that has quite a generic offering, what are some of the tips of how I find my uniqueness?
Yeah, there's lots of us are in businesses where there are lots of other businesses. And you want to stand out. You want to be the purple cow. And the question is, how do you become that purple cow that everybody sees? And I suppose it's, there's also this thing about the blue ocean strategy. So what can you be and do differently so that not everybody else is playing on your front stoop in your garden. So yeah, you want to be different. And I think it is about you then. Who's the only difference in that business? It's you, the owner, and the type of service you offer, and how you get people to believe in that. And that is really just by referrals, isn't it? So you want feedback from your clients. You want to make sure that you get all that positive stuff back into your business and use it in your marketing, because they will tell you why they buy from you. And the reason why they buy from you is why other people will buy from you. And I think once you understand that, make that your USP.
Yeah, very good. And the other one too is, if you're not always sure, ask your customers, ask your existing customers why they do business with you, and they will often tell you, which will give you some insights into maybe what you do differently, which is important.
Yes.
I think
sorry, can I just say, if you have a customer that refers you, go and listen to why they refer you. Exactly. You got them results, you got them quality product, you got whatever they needed.
Yeah.
And more.
You're friendly, you care, you make a plan, you're quicker, you're loyal, you help them out of the jam one day. There's a lot of reasons, but often, you'll find that from your existing customers, or as Bert rightly says, if somebody refers you, or why, then there's something you're doing that's special, and that's maybe different. For everybody's benefit, I've put into the chat box where you can go do a business health check on your business as it stands at the moment. So if you take the input that Bert was talking about, and you say, well, where am I maybe healthy? Where am I not so healthy? Where am I really healthy? Where am I terrible? And it's 24 questions that you can just ask on your business to help you get some perspective of maybe where you're strong and maybe where you're not. Just the one here about, let me go back and find it. Dudazila asking around the growth clubs. Growth clubs are our quarterly planning sessions where we take all our clients and people that are not clients but are in business, that are spending the day with us, through really taking a look at your business, where you're wanting to take it. As Bert said, start long term, break it down, and then operationalizing the next 90 days to get into the discipline of using quarterly chunks to help you achieve your business plan and then your ultimate business vision, which I think is important. Kobotso says here, big takeaway is the importance of defining and giving direction to my business. How often do you find that with clients that you work where that maybe is an issue in business, that defining the clarity of the future is where it often starts?
Yes, I think, I think most of our business owners that we work with, and I'm not saying all of them, but most of them have no clear vision of where they want to be. They have arrived, but because of what they did and because of who they are. And now the business is not doing what they wanted to do. And they now come to us as coaches and as mentors, and they ask, can you help me? Can you give me new direction? I want to re-energize. I need to have a break, or I need to have better people. They probably know quite a lot already. But it is about now going forward and saying, okay, let's put a plan together. And again, yesterday, the discussion is, so what's your vision and mission? No, I have it. I've told my people. I said, but where is it written? Okay, so if it's not written, you don't have it. Let's just be honest about that. And yes, in the beginning, you might struggle. It's not going to be that easy to clarify. But as you work with it, and over the next year, perhaps 6 months, you're going to become a lot clearer on that. And then you need to put that into an action plan. You need to help, week by week, take action. And you're going to say to me, well, I don't have time. Well, put a block of time away for that stuff that's important. Because if you don't, it's never going to happen.
So a comment here, and maybe a great question leading into it too, from Koportso, saying that ability to convert leads into business is a challenge that faces many entrepreneurs at different levels. What would be your guidance if I've committed to growth, if I've seen this as something I need to do, I want to grow,
yes,
I've got these leads, but I'm not converting them. How can I make that easier for myself?
Okay, so what most business owners do is they give discount, isn't it? You reduce the price. Well, that's not what we want you to do. Price should not be the issue. It's about the value you offer. So perhaps when you do the quotes and when you convert those quotes, ask yourself, why are they not converting? Go and talk to the person that you gave the quote to and understand why he's not picking you. I think that's the first feedback you need. Secondly, do you have an offer? What does that offer look like, and is it attractive enough? So do you believe in it? Can you sell something you don't believe in? No, you can't. And I think quite often what we're trying to do is we're trying to push people into a sales situation where we want to just close the deal. I think, important that if you don't get feedback, and when you've spoken to this person quite often, I think there's a way of approaching it to actually not say, hey, I'm just following up, but to say, you know what, where do you think we should go from here? Quite a different wording in terms of that. So, if you've given the guy 10 quotes, he's never accepted one. So go and see him and make sure and understand why he's not doing that. And then how could I qualify? What do I need to do differently? And understand that, but in not an aggressive way, but ask him to give you clarity so that you can get it. And sometimes you just have to walk away. Some clients are just not going to buy from you. There's something else, could be backenders, it could be other things you don't know. But go and look at the mining industry. There's lots of that stuff.
Absolutely. And I think, getting the lead is the top of the 5 ways. The conversion rate was the second one. So tracking them is important.
Yes.
If you track
yes,
them,
knowing your numbers.
play the game of wanting to influence the result.
Yes, and then perhaps look at why some are converting and some are not.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Exactly. Now, if you start unpacking the detail and you're managing the smaller incremental steps, one can make a much bigger impact. Tanya asked you a question around drafting the business plan. So I've just typed into the chat box a template that I encourage you all to use. And it starts with, what's the vision of my business? Where am I going? And then what are the steps to break that down? And then even look at the marketing elements to help you get there. So definitely go to the website and download that for your use. I think, Tanya, that'll help you, but anybody else at the same time too. So, but there's been a lot of uncertainty lately. We came through 2 years of disruption through COVID. You mentioned the Ukraine war. Although it's seemingly far away from us, it's causing uncertainty. I'm a business owner worried and distracted by this uncertainty. What would your advice be to me in how I need to go about my business with this uncertainty always in the background?
Yes. So let's talk about fear. All right. So I'm thinking about war and I'm thinking about fear, and I've seen it on so many faces on TV lately of those people that are going or leaving Ukraine. And the point is, for us, what does that mean? Is that so far away it'll never have an impact? Well, we know that the oil price has an immediate impact, so that we need to face. But treat that as any other inflationary pressure in your business. And what I'm saying to you is, you cannot absorb the oil price increases in your business. You have to pass it on to your clients. So any inflationary cost pressure needs to be passed on to your clients. Now, that might not be that easy. And I know that, in the transport business, for instance, the guy said, we don't want it this month, you can give it to us next month, and so on and so on. And those things delay. But somehow you must make and get to an agreement that inflationary cost pressures or inflationary costs must be passed on. So fear stands for false expectations appearing real. Okay, so what are your expectations that are going to happen as a result of this? Well, just think about the stock exchange. There are some companies who are going to suffer, and we are probably going to pay more for our food and all sorts of stuff. But who's benefiting? So perhaps you should go and look at where the growth is and say, can I get into that market? Just exactly the same as we did with COVID, isn't it? So we couldn't move around, and all of a sudden everybody was buying masks and hand sanitizer and other stuff. And there was opportunity in there. People remodeled their homes because they were at home more often and they wanted an office. So there are all those opportunities as well. So go and perhaps think about it, go and brainstorm, go and find with your team those things that you can impact and that you can do to grow your business. Because there are businesses that are growing and they're making the best of it.
Absolutely. So I like Peter's comment here around uncertainty. Drive cash flow and cash flow reserves as a matter of urgency. I think what the world has shown us for the last few years is that just enough is not enough. We need to have surpluses. We need to have buffers. And the beauty about humans and our personal lives and our finances and our businesses, if we have to build something bigger, we will. And I often joke and say, who of us could afford to have our first child? Nobody.
Yes.
But then, like me, I've had 3, and they still eat, they still get through life, all the rest of it. But because I have to, I do. And that's often an encouraging point for everybody in business too. Tanya says here she actually started her business in lockdown because of lockdown. So those uncertain times often bring opportunity. So without any further questions, before we do a wrap up, about advice, general advice, you've given us a lot of great tips to focus on. We've answered some great questions. You as a very experienced action coach, business coach, what's your advice to a business owner listening to this today?
Well, firstly, you need a coach. I think it's extremely important that you have a mentor or coach in your corner. And, think about boxing and life. Life is very similar to boxing. You only lose when you refuse to get up. So yes, we're going to make mistakes. I spoke to a lady just in last week. Her third business was the most successful one she's ever started, but she had 2 failures. But she didn't go and lie down. She got up and she started the next one. And I think that's, to me, that's, we need to keep on doing what we're good at, and we need to learn how to be better. And sometimes, we're not allowing ourselves to grow. And, the B times do equals have formula says, I need to be a different person. And perhaps, you can attend training. Yes, you can read books, I suppose. That's important. And you should do all of that. But you should certainly consider getting a mentor or coach in your business if you don't have one.
Absolutely. Great advice. So on that note, thank you very much for your attendance. I've put in the link again to register for the series. If you are listening to this today on Zoom, then you've registered for the series. If you're listening to this maybe as a recording or on Facebook Live, you're not registered for the series. So make sure that you actually register for the series. Every single second Thursday of the month for the whole year, we're going to be focusing on a different topic. And next month, we've got Coach Tabo Pitse talking about freedom and how do you create freedom in your business, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of stress, and build the business accordingly. Today, the one around growth, I think, is probably one that I'm most passionate about, because I truly believe we live in the most amazing country. And I'm fortunate enough to say that because I have family that live overseas, and I'm fortunate enough to travel. But to make it the country that has probably the best human rights in theory in our constitution in the world, we need growth. We need businesses to find a way to grow their own businesses. And I think that advice around a coach is a critical one, in the sense that you will not do this on your own. And I say that with the greatest of respect to everybody, because these little boxes that we carry around with us, our cell phones, our smartphones, have the solution to every single thing on the planet. So why are we all not, Ironman athletes, gold medalists, supermodel billionaires? Because to keep all these balls in the air, to keep the focus, to keep the feet to the fire, to keep the pressure, to have the support is not an easy task. Business is relatively simple. It's not easy, but it's relatively simple. And through this series, we're definitely going to make it simpler for you. but I encourage you to share this message with as many people as you can. Get every single one of your clients, every single one of your suppliers, every single one of your service providers to attend this series and to get the same information that you're getting. Because if everybody gets the information around you, they'll be running more profitable, more sustainable businesses that'll make your life easier. But this is the parting thought. Our business is called Action Coach for a reason. Not one day when I find the time, coach. One day when I've got enough money, coach. One day when I'm not so stressed, coach. Or, previously it was one day when COVID passes. Now it might be one day when the war stops. The reality is it's the actions I take with the information I get and the information I have that change my life and those around me forever. And I hope that you've taken good notes and that the lessons you've taken from today, you will go implement. Those are the most critical ones. So thanks for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Share the link with others to register, and we'll see you same place next month for our session on freedom. Appreciate about your time and your wisdom. Thank you everybody for joining us. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the opportunity.